Merkel Media.
He put it in park, threw open the driver's door, ran out the side of the car, across the front of it, and jumped right off the side of the bridge in front of me.
The only people who really pulled over were truckers.
He said, we're going Hodge, and he didn't slow down. He went across the median onto the oncoming traffic, but where they could see him coming, they just got out of the way.
I noticed this plane was really low. It went right in front of us, hit the fence, and it spun around. 30 seconds more, he could have hit us.
And I went around that truck, and a guy stepped out from behind the truck and threw a piece of wood, and it shot through my window just like a spear and stuck in the back of the cab of my truck.
That's probably one of the strangest
Welcome
things
to Hammer Lane Legends. I'm Brian Merkel.
I'm Brian Schipper.
And I'm Mike Drake.
If you have a crazy and wild story you would like to share with us from the road, or if you'd like to have a conversation with us from the road, it would be great to have a conversation with you. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we like hearing from people.
We do. Even though he's a people person. He is just that kind of guy. He's a people person. He wants to hear from you. So please contact the show at hammerlanelegends@gmail.com. That's hammerlanelegends@gmail.com. Yes, that's a change in our email address.
Welcome to the new year.
Welcome to the new year. That's right.
New year, new look.
And it is crazy. It is a new year. It's like it's crazy that the old year is gone. Well, last year is gone, but it happens every year. So
yeah,
it's
right
not
about
like it's
this
anything
time.
new. It's really kind of the same old thing. Anyway, Schipper, tell them. Oh, well, yeah. If you have a story you'd like to share with us, anyway, share with us here at hammerlanelegends@gmail.com.
Right,
Schipper. Voicemail line or whatever it is that we do. Nope, not even doing the
voice.
voicemail. I know it's.
You're the one that told me.
It's
okay?
a whole new year,
all
dude. My brain
I'm in charge
is just
of
like
is keep us fueled, keep us caffeinated, and buy me a
Already
coffee.
falling apart.
.com/hammerlane. Virtual tip jar. If you like what we're doing,
fantastic coffee.
Follow it. Follow the simple prompts. If not, thanks for looking.
And just so people know, I did get an email from somebody who said that they would like the buy me a coffee thing to be done through PayPal. That's not our decision. That's through the buy me a coffee people. That's not up to me how it gets paid.
I have no idea. I don't drink the shit. What?
It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah.
I didn't get any sleep. And I want to thank the freaking
Schipper.
Department of Transportation, PennDOT, for their inadequate salting techniques.
He's trying.
Salting techniques.
Yes.
They didn't even salt. I mean, they're
This
not.
is what I mean. Inadequate.
They're saving money on salt.
Apparently, they have high blood pressure.
They're not.
watch
They're
your
reducing
soda.
their sodium intake.
They're reducing their sodium intake on the roads. Because that was a shit show last night.
Welcome to PA.
Yes.
Anyway,
Only 30 miles of it, but other than that, you're good to go.
It only takes 2. That's all. It don't take a lot. A mile or 2, and
No.
everything becomes a poop show.
Yeah, when the guy laid it over again, right next to me, I'm like, well, he's on his 10-hour break.
He's taking a nap.
Truck and trailer's taking a nap.
Wow, I'm gonna lay down here. All right, bro.
Okay.
Good place. At least you're on the side.
Yeah, he
Anyway,
was. All
I
he
got
had to do
nothing
was
to say.
all
I
he
was
had to
in
do was
bed.
put a couple cones around him. That was
I
it.
was too.
Oh, you were off?
I was on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm off on Monday too.
Look at you.
I
We're
know.
both well rested. Shipper's in rare form.
Shippers,
This
he
gonna be
is
pretty
in
good.
rare form.
Yes.
It's gonna be a fun
You picked
day.
a good day.
So,
Anyway, who the hell are we listening
all
to?
of that being said, today we're talking to Vishal. Vishal, how are you doing, man? It's nice to see you.
Good guys. Glad to be on. Glad to be on.
Fantastic.
Fantastic to hear from you.
Yes.
Heard so much about you.
Yeah, big fan of the show. Listen to
G-Man.
it G-Man, yeah. Listen to the show all the time in my travels. I'll tell you what,
Cool.
you guys are popular.
Oh, well, at least we're popular with somebody.
Somebody likes
Hey,
us.
I got a guy on the East Coast, him, and I got a guy on the West Coast.
I got a couple of Guatemalans in Guatemala.
Yeah.
So we're doing all
Evidently, they
right.
couldn't catch a ride up.
Well,
Just saying. You got to the 20th.
Anyway, back to Vishal. For the love of Pete.
Well,
I guess that's what happened when Schipper doesn't get enough sleep. He gets cranky.
Yes, he does. He's
Captain
Mr.
Cranky Pants.
Yep.
That adrenaline kicks in. He gets a second wind, and woof.
Yeah, we're gone.
All he needs is a little bit of caffeine. Yes, sir.
We're not even. We're low sugar today.
But we're still
Oh.
caffeinated.
No, Dr. Pepper don't have any caffeine.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
how
caffeine
about that,
free.
I had.
He's running on pure Schipper.
dude? But I heard they're bringing back that Jolt stuff.
Oh God, was
They're
that
bringing that back,
That's
and it's
wrong.
supposed to even have more caffeine than it did before.
Oh, God.
that crap made my heart pitter patter before?
Yeah, you can stop it. Whatever. You're older now.
There you go. I need a little extra. Uh oh. There's an extra beat wasn't there before.
Before you drive a Tesla, you just plug in the
There you
adapter
go.
there. It'll
My
defibrillate you.
defibrillator, I'll plug in. I got all the power right there.
That's it.
Oh, that's better.
1.21.
Yes, sir. Tony Stark, he is not.
You.
Just take her out and change her out.
You know, we really should talk to Vishal. Though,
Yeah,
while he's here.
hey, you're the one who started this. This is all
He
about
actually
you.
showed up today for the show.
Just put him on mute.
We're just putting on a 3-man show for him.
He was on mute for the first half hour.
Yeah.
So sorry, Vishal.
It's good. No, it's all good. It's all
Schipper
good.
Unrested. You know, I think we're going to call the show Schipper Unrested.
Yes.
Of course, I don't know if you've noticed it, but if I name the show, they still change the title.
I know what happened to the one last
I
week.
know.
Two broads and a Tesla.
Tesla.
And then my wife goes, I'm like, on the open road? Or
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
like,
understand
Either
it.
one of them's a driver.
No. So I'm going to have to let him know, and he's going to rename that one.
Does he just put him in
Well,
a
it's a
he
little
probably
late
throws
No,
now.
I
in
think he
AI.
lets the AI do it. I think he just lets.
Well, you know
No.
what? It's time to get done with the AI.
Oh, that's not going to get done.
No.
That's just taking off. That's just taking off. That's just a little bit of the touch,
Yes.
just the base. That's going to skyrocket from here on out.
Oh, it certainly is.
Oh, yeah.
For everything.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is. It
Well,
is.
just it'll be in your young hands because my old man hands, I don't care. Stay off my lawn.
Do you care or not? Your phone that you're in, that's the all AI. The new Apple stuff has got the Apple intelligence in it.
That's right.
Pain in the
That's
butt.
right.
Stuff doesn't work like it used to.
Really?
Yeah,
iPhone?
Yeah, not Alexa. What's Siri?
Siri.
Siri is now is the AI. When you ask her to do something, the ring around the phone lights up. Not that little.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it acts different.
Not that little buffering thing.
No, everything on the phone acts different now with the
Wow.
Apple Intelligence. I guess there's a way to shut it off, but I haven't figured it out yet.
You're not intelligent enough.
No.
Well, you got to tell Siri to tell
He's
the
still
Apple
needing
to
that.
be dumb.
Yeah. Hey Siri, be stupid again.
Yes. Be a blonde.
Uh-oh. One woman listener ain't gonna listen no
She's
more.
not-
I thought Schipper was going to ask for the redhead and stilettos, like the one up at the Met clinic there that you guys used to go get DOT physical.
Oh, it's Smithton.
No.
Behind the Pit Ohio
Saucon
Terminal,
Valley.
Saucon Valley. Did you ever go over to that one?
No.
How do G-Man
Yeah.
told you about her?
I listened to the show. I heard about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
378 there.
Her.
I never had.
No?
I only heard about it.
Yeah.
I never had
Oh,
that.
And she wondered why all of us had high blood pressure.
As soon as you get in the door, tick, 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 tick.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah. If you could read my mind, we'd be in jail.
Are you sure you don't have to check for hurting this time around?
How many different fluids you need?
Change them all.
Oh, God.
I got free samples.
Wow.
Oh, this is going to go long. I can see this already.
That took a turn.
God.
He's good.
Oh my word, that's freaking hilarious. I can't believe we went down that
And
road.
I was going to say, the only 75 people that know is Allentown's drivers.
I only heard about it, never got to
Oh.
experience it.
Wow, that's a shame.
Boy, you lead a sheltered life.
I did. I missed it, I guess. I would get the creepy old lady.
Synchronize our appointments. What time's she in?
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh, she's not in. I'll be back.
Oh.
Oh my word, that's funny. You know, can I go once a month? It's gonna help. I'll do whatever it takes. Well, anyway, back to Vishal. How did you get introduced to the show? Obviously, your uncle.
Yeah. So wanted to give a quick shout out to Greg Zilli, retired road warrior out of Allentown there. Thanks, Uncle Greg. I want to appreciate everything you do, and some things I don't want to forget. You know,
Amen.
Some things you can't.
Yeah. But my wife's dad and him are brothers. So
Okay.
I've known him since 2008. But anyhow, he introduced me to the show, and when he found out I was doing a lot of traveling, so I kind of like, you know, you sit in the truck for a couple hours traveling here and there before you get to a job. So it's like, well, you got time to kill, you know, and same old playlist of songs that gets old. So it's like, well, let's listen to this here. Let's try podcasts or a new thing, try it. And it just stuck. You know, I became a fan of it right away. And plus I work in transportation. So it goes hand in hand, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, as far as how I got my start, I started as a kid. I always loved trucking. My grandfather was in trucking. He worked for Overnight out of Imperial Court in Bensalem there, 525 Imperial Court.
Okay.
And as a kid, I used to ride on Saturdays. I used to ride over with him to the terminal, and he used to go and take me for rides in the tractor, you know, around the yard and stuff.
Right.
So at some point in time, I decided, well, I was probably like 10 or 12 years old. I wanted to be a truck driver. That's originally what I wanted to do. And I wanted to drive for Overnight.
Uh-huh.
Well, Overnight got bought out in, I think it was like 8 or 9 by UPS. And then my grandfather had long time retired by then. So I said, well, I'm going to work on trucks then at that point. So I started in the light duty side and then went to heavy duty, and I went for a fleet servicing company for a while. And then after that, I worked for International. And International was good, and some stuff was going on the back end. I wasn't too happy, and this job presented itself. So then about 3.5, 4 years ago, I decided to become a traveling field mechanic and do that. So actually I know there's some confusion from the last time on the last episode when Greg was on, but he thought I worked for Caterpillar. I don't work for Caterpillar. I work for Cummins. And I work right there off of Penhar Drive, right across from yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of that branch. That's where I'm
kidding.
out. Yes, sir.
Look at that. Now we're gonna get big red motors.
Yeah.
Oh, the K-Bar trucks use Cummins.
I don't think any of our trucks have big motors.
Yeah, no. Well, they have some of them have big motors, maybe, but they cut the balls right off of them.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. So I work out of there. So I'm always crossing your guys' paths all the time when I'm leaving to go up on 83 or go to 81. I'm always, you know, cutting across there.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, that's where I'm out of. But I live in Kutztown. Is where I live.
You gotta drive to go to work, huh?
Yeah.
You should have started driving in about 9:00 last night. Would have been fun trying to get there.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I left Harrisburg. It was probably around 4, and from Lingelstown all the way up to the 78-81 split, they had this like squall going on, and people just think they could just cut in and out all the time, and they're in a hurry, they got to go somewhere, you know, whatever, and it screws everything up because people like me that are in a service truck or in a big truck, you know, they're taking their time and they're trying to give space and whatever, and these jerks just whip out of there, you know, it's ridiculous. It's like, you know, it's crazy. So, well, yeah.
It is crazy, and PennDOT being what they are, you know, they're always Johnny on the spot when it comes to salting. getting out there in
at
the
least
winter
6 or 7 hours after the event came across.
or at least 6 or 7 accidents after the event started.
Yeah, I mean, or they'll just stand on the side of the road or hold up off the off ramp or the on ramp and just look and then just wait until like they get a pile up. And it's like, well, I better go salt now.
Time to move.
No, there was nobody even on the on or off ramps. There was nothing, nowhere, nothing.
Yeah, they weren't even staged.
Nope. They were all in. They were gearing up for Monday's potential storm that might, flurries.
Those 3 inches that we're going to get for a 13 or 16 hour storm. The whole thing.
Somebody told me that Harrisburg was supposed to get 16 inches of snow on Monday from another model. I said, there is no way.
Well, that would explain why the signs are already up saying 12 a.m. no empties and no doubles already. Some idiot thinks 16 inches.
I saw this morning it's going to be heading further south. It's going to be like Maryland and Virginia are going to get the snow, especially in the mountains down there. They're really going to get hit.
All right. So good luck. Yeah. Hopefully they don't have PennDOT.
No.
Yeah, MDOT.
MDOT. So anyway, so what is it that you do?
So basically anything that's under Cummins power, it doesn't matter what it's in. It could be in a piece of earth moving machinery. It could be a truck. It could be crane. We go and work on it on site. So overhauls on site, troubleshooting on site, basically verify, repair, confirm, release back to the customer. I mean, we make generators. A lot of people don't know that. Cummins makes generators. They make standby gen sets for data centers and that type of thing. That's another thing that we make and we support.
Do they still do the Marines? The Marine engines?
Yeah, so we don't. As far as I know, there's only one guy in my branch. He's about to retire now, but he's been there 40 plus years. He only had to work on a Marine application like a couple times. It's very rare for us now, like down towards Maryland and like that stuff. Yeah, they work on it. Yeah, Inner Harbor, like Bristol. Yeah. We have a branch in Bristol. They go over to the port and work on that stuff. They work on Marine. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we basically have our hand in everything, but not as much as what Cat does, because Cat makes machines, that type of thing. We just power it.
Right.
I mean, so
you're only working on the powered end of the engines and the
engine after treatment, and then some OEM stuff. As long as we have proper publication and wiring schematics and that type of thing, it's up to the customer really. If they don't get anywhere with the OE and they want us to fix it, they'll pay to fix it. They don't mind, So it's kind of like whatever cards you're dealt with on whatever job you go to and what the situation is. If the machine's down or whatever and they need it, they want you to fix it. Just do it.
You said before you do full overhauls on site? Like
rebuild an engine. Yeah. So my first job actually. So a lot of people don't know we power transit buses. That we're big into transit and same like coaches. So we were going to this one place down in York and doing campaigns for overhauls under warranty for oil consumption. So we go down there, bring the overhaul kit, put it in the back of the truck. It'd be a big crate you carry it with, go down there, and you'd be scheduled for 5 days or 4 days, whatever it was, and you're working on customer site. You were doing everything at the customer location. And then once it was done, you released it, road tested it, made sure it was good, and then on to the next one, So that campaign since then, from when I started, it's over now. They closed. We actually, back here in the last spring, we finished the last batch of them. So now all those are done until the next batch. So we'll see what happens.
Wow, yeah.
So we blow them up again and you got to repair them again.
Yeah. Basically, they'll come out with some other fix or something some other issue, and then it'll be like it'll be all over again type deal. Same type of deal as like your car.
Right.
But yeah, we do that. I mean, there's field is a lot different. I will say from being in the shop environment. Not saying shop guys don't have their difficulties, but you're also working out in the elements. So you got to deal with that. Some of the wildlife, which is interesting at times, depending where you are. Which brings me to a story I have. I went up to Altoona. This was like maybe a year or so ago. And it was in the winter. It was in January. So we're working at this remote location, and it's a drill. So we're working. Me and another guy were working, and we keep hearing like this ruffling going on. We're like, oh, it's just the wind. It was windy that day. It's like, oh, it's nothing, Well, here's the freaking black bear. And the black bear comes out, and he's like, oh, shit. He goes, oh, get in the truck. Get in the truck. So we get in the truck, and the black bear's going around, sniffing all around. It's over by the drill where we're working, and it's hanging out there. It's not leaving. And luckily, we kept all of our lunches in the truck, right? So we're kind of like worried at this point because we're like, well, is he going to try and bust through the window to get it, or what's the case? So he goes, well, I got an idea. So my buddy, my coworker, he has one of them air horns, like you have at a stadium or whatever, football game. He hits that son of a bitch, and that thing just goes taking off. And he goes, well, at least I know this works, so we could go back to work now, type deal. So yeah, it was a eye opener, I will say.
Heck yeah.
Some of these places you go to, it's just you. Like it could be 50 miles off of a main road.
Wow.
And you're out in the bush, out in the middle of nowhere. So.
Wow, yeah,
that can get dangerous.
Heck yeah, that can get scary.
Yeah. So that's why they make us like CPR certified. We have to be trained in CPR and all that kind of stuff because you're working by yourself, so you don't know what will happen.
How can you give CPR to yourself?
It ain't even.
Hey, maybe some magical technology later on in life will have that. I don't know, but it's just
defibrillate yourself.
Right. Yeah.
They already have those AEDs where you just kind of peel and stick them on, and then push a button on a machine, and it does the whole.
Wow.
Boy, I gotta use that more often. Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, some of your businesses have them. Like I know we have them, and at the branch we have them.
It has one in the office.
Yeah. But they're expensive. They're not. They're by no means cheap. By no means, they're not cheap.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. A lot of money. I mean, you could always ask Siri.
Siri, I think I'm having a heart attack. How do I save me?
Well, Schipper could ask Joe. Joe might know.
Oh.
He don't remember what day of the week it is, Joe.
You're going to go there. Wow. He's well informed.
You're paying attention, bro.
He's well informed.
Right. Oh, he is. That is hilarious.
More inside stuff for a few people.
Yes.
If you want to know what he's talking about, listen to the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's only 200 some odd episodes to catch up on.
That's right.
Not like a glossary of all the. What do they talk about? A book you can flip through.
I
get it.
We have to get a Hammerland Legends.
We got to move up from a bingo card. We got to move up to a bingo book.
Yep.
We need a glossary of terms.
Yeah, he's got you twice. He's awesome.
I got to thank the Marble Championship there. Championship up there in Schuylkill County.
Oh, he's still in Burke.
Oh, is that Burke?
Yeah, Hamburg.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Anything worth of 78. That's the scoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, word, that's freaking hilarious. That was okay.
Yeah, actually, before I got this job, I had interviewed with Pitt, Ohio.
Did you really?
At Allentown Shop.
Oh, to be a mechanic.
Yeah, as a mechanic, and I forget who I had talked to, but it was for a second shift position with, I think it's Martera. That's the company that does. Yeah. So, and the offer was great and stuff, but I was just not inclined about the second shift. I wanted like first shift, and they couldn't give it to me.
Wow.
So at that point, I was like, well, I wasn't looking. And then this just kind of fell in my lap because a guy I know, he's a technical support. He was on the road. He started working for Cummins in 1983 at that branch. That branch opened in 80. So he was there from the beginning, and then he was on the road up until 2015 or so, and then he became a field service engineer technical support specialist. So he would go to like dealerships, and if you had a problem, like a problem child truck or a unit, and you followed like all the published troubleshooting and had your ducks in a row and you couldn't figure it out, it would get escalated through a number called Cummins Care is what it's called. And then Cummins Care would go through their channels, and then it would get to this person. Mm-hmm. So it got to him, and I worked with him for 3 days, and then we kind of kept in contact, and he wrote me a great letter of recommendation to get me the job, and here I am now. Wow. So
that's cool.
And it's great. I mean, you're not in the same place every day.
Right.
You're constantly traveling.
Sure.
The farthest north I've been is like the Pennsylvania-New York border, and then the furthest south I've been so far is like into Virginia. So it's you're just go and try and get stuff fixed and get it done. So.
Right. Oh, that's really cool. That's kind of that's the beauty of it's we talked a little bit about that on our last show of the year. Just the idea of just being able to get out and not being in an office or anything like that. That
office or a shop or just being at the same spot all day.
Yeah. It's one of those things that and people are like, well, how do you? The last time I worked in a warehouse or in a confined area, it was 1986, and
wow.
Yeah. And since then,
I wasn't even born then.
There's another one.
I was 13, so I feel a little better.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my dad's eye at that time.
That's awesome.
Makes you feel old.
I know, yeah. It's like everything
I'm well
around.
past that. I'm all right. 86. I was drinking heavily already for several years.
Started young.
Yes, 12.
I installed security systems. So I was out traveling, at least in different places. You're out every day, someplace new, someplace different. And then I was driving. And so I've never, since 86. So I think to myself, sometimes, especially in the wintertime. I mean, I don't know how you are, but sometimes in the wintertime, you're like, the weather is so cold. It's so crappy. It's snowing out last night. There's accidents all over the place, whatever's going on. And you just think to yourself, working at Amazon wouldn't be bad. And then I think back to when I actually worked inside a place where I was just there all the time. I'm like, yeah, probably not. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like that first year, I also went up to first time I ever been to a quarry, and quarries are a freaking scary place. So actually up in Frackville.
Okay.
I went up to one. It was me and another guy. We're working on a shovel, and I'd never seen a piece of equipment that big. A Komatsu. It was a Komatsu PC 4000, which is They make two versions of that. They make the 4000, which has a 60-liter Cummins engine that powers it, and then they make an 8000, which is two of those same engines side by side.
Wow.
60 liter.
It's massive. It's massive. So we go up there.
Bottles.
Yeah. So we go up there, and I had never seen it before. That's the first time I've ever been in a quarry. So we get up there, me and another guy. We met up right off the exit there where you have that goofy McDonald's is up on like that mountain,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we meet up. Yeah, we meet up there like 4 a.m. And then we drive over on the back roads from there to the quarry. So we check in, we do the safety training stuff, and then, we go down in. So mind you, from the top of the entrance road, it's like in the third level down in the hole.
Wow.
So at this point, you're probably like at least a good 200-300 feet below down in. and it had been raining and snowing the night before. So it's like a coal mud that is like quicksand. It just, you get out of the truck, it swallows your boot whole, and it'll suck the boot right off of your foot. It's terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. So we look at this thing, and I said, well, what are we doing to this? He goes, well, we're doing 4 turbochargers in it. So it's in a big house off the back of the operator's cab. Mm-hmm. And mind you, each turbocharger is at least 150, 200 pounds. So you have to crane everything up onto the deck lid of the machine, take everything off, roll it out, crane it down, and then both of you have to pick it up and then mount it in place. So it was a long day. We were there all day until at least like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, and then you have the hour to drive home. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was just like insane. All the I'll put it nicely, the tomfoolery that goes around in there, because people are like, they're not paying attention. They're running all over the place. There's signs everywhere that says, yield to haul trucks, and people aren't yielding or following the rules. And in fact, later that year, some guy had died at not at the same location, but there was another quarry, probably like another 5 or 10 miles away from there, mm-hmm. that's in that vicinity. He got killed because he was operating an excavator, and he went over the high wall. It fell 600 feet, I assume, down in, and they couldn't find him for like 3 days. He was in the machine for 3 days. He had a heart attack and fell over.
Wow.
In the machine. Yeah, tipped the machine over and in. Wow. So, yeah, it's a scary place. It really is. And you have to always be up on your guard when you go to one of those places.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to quarries when they're not active and everything. When I was a kid, we went to a few quarries and, mm-hmm. Went swimming when you're not supposed to and stuff. But I never was in an active quarry with these giant trucks that they're like buildings moving around on these. Crazy. And, like you said, like some of these excavators and stuff, you never saw equipment like this. Right. That is just, you can't, like you said, a 60-liter diesel
engine. 60-liter diesel.
That's huge. That's like what they put in cruise ships. You ever see a cruise ship?
They actually put bigger ones than that, to be honest with you. So Cummins makes what is called a QSK 95. It's a 95-liter engine with Tier 4 aftertreatment, mind you. So it has its own separate aftertreatment, and they use it for gensets to power hospitals and data centers. Like some of the Amazon stuff out west, they'll have like 4 or 5 of them because, the utility company can't provide enough power for that data center. So they have to have backup power all the time to run it in order to power the data center.
Look at that. You get a trailer, hook that up to your Tesla.
I never.
Well, to your Tesla. I mean,
hit the generator there.
1.21.
1.22 gigawatt.
Yeah, 22.
The world.
It's insane, some of the stuff that they make, and it's just like it's massive, and the stuff that they power.
Imagine the pistons, the size of the pistons.
I can't.
That's like a 16-inch pizza going in there.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you have to pull the piston and the liner to get together with the rod, and it'll be like over 200 pounds, 250 pounds that you're pulling. Wow. So it's no joke.
I just can't imagine the combustion chamber, because diesel's all about pressure, and I just can't imagine this. That's just staggering. I mean, I look at our truck engines and our tractors, and they're like little baby 3-cylinders compared to what he's working on.
Like
it's like
that's the truth.
And then the cruise ship engines, like I said, they're the literal size of a bus. And I mean, they're not diesel. They're the fuel oil is what they run on. But still, I guess it's the same type of thing. Yeah. But it's just how big these things are, and the maintenance that has to go into them.
Yeah. It's just it's like I said, every day is a learning deal. You're not fixing the same thing every day, and you're not fixing it the same way every day. That's why I like this job. I mean, it has not everything is rainbow and sunshines. You know, everything has its drawbacks, right? But like you got to be outside, and in the summer, I don't mind working in the summertime. The winter is what I kind of mind because you can never you have to take so many breaks to try and keep warm. You know what I mean? But you got to keep going.
That's
like your fingers after a while.
You should change up there in the wintertime. You do the Marine Division around down Florida way. And they up here in the late spring, early summer.
to be perfectly honest with you, I was in Florida last summer. Me and my wife, we were down in Disney. And anywho, when we were there were some guys from the local Cummins branch in Orlando there, and I got to talking to them. Yeah, when they were working on a telehandler, they weren't even working on something marine, but I walk up to them, I asked them what branch they were from, and I told them where I was from, and I basically did the same thing they did, but from up north, and they said, oh yeah, you couldn't pay us to do marine, because marine is just, especially like pleasure crafts, like yachts and stuff, those people are a special breed of their own to deal with. And they have no idea. And they just think you could just snap your finger and make something happen just like that. And that's not how it goes.
And they're not necessarily known for taking care of anything either.
Right.
No. But then when you hand them a bill, and it's like, okay, you need a $75,000 engine. They want to be cheap asses about it and be like, well, that's highway robbery. Well, I'm sorry. What do you charge for your fees for, watching somebody's, retirement or fund or, hedge fund manager or whatever? And you're
$5
telling
million
me
on
that,
the yacht, but I'm not paying for this engine.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Warranty.
Try to get under warranty. Yeah. So, but like I said, it's in fact, do you remember that big snowstorm or squall we had about 2 weeks ago? Like it was coming through over the weekend into Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in Higgins that day when it was gusting like 50 miles an hour on the mountain.
Right.
And I wanted to kill myself that day because it was just so miserable. You couldn't get warm at all. And just trying to, like I have a heater in the truck, in the one toolbox of the truck. It heats the whole one side. So like I'll run that and then try to switch gloves to try and keep warm, but it can only go for 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
The gloves do. And then you're like, oh, so you're just constantly taking breaks. But boy, I wanted to kill myself that day because it was just miserable. It was just a terrible day in itself. And I'm sure with you guys, going to like pedaling freight in Jersey and stuff, like if you're pedaling freight and constantly switching trailers or whatever, that's a pain in the ass because you got to get out, got to crank it down, got to switch over, get your bills ready, go, that type of thing.
Well, you're talking to line haul drivers here. We stay in the truck. We maybe drop some trailers, but that's it. We don't handle freight. We aren't pedaling nothing.
Well, didn't Schipper used to pedal freight?
Back in the day? Yeah, back in the day. Then I got smart.
Yeah, we all did it back in the day, and then, like you said, we got smart.
Well,
warm truck.
We're still truck drivers, so we didn't get that smart.
See, I told Greg months ago when I was at International. When I worked for International. We had a guy for night. He didn't speak English. Okay, and he pulls the truck up. Had the truck in the trailer with 53-foot reefer trailer. And it was D-rated. So I told him, I said, you got to park in the outside lot there, in the gravel lot, and then unhook the truck from the trailer and bring it over. So I go out there, he brings the keys, and I said, well, where's the tractor? He goes, and he just points, and the son of a bitch is still hooked up to the trailer. And he didn't back it in anywhere. He pulled forward, and the excuse he made was he doesn't know how to back in. Wow. Now, how in the hell did you get your license? Because I went and got my B. I didn't go get my A because at the time I couldn't. To go get an A, I had to go through a whole bunch of other nonsense. This is before the mandatory schooling and all that stuff. I did it,
right.
Like getting trained with somebody, and then you go out and go take the license or test. But anywho, I said, "What do you mean you don't know how to back up?" So I go out there. I had to alley dock the trailer to get it into a spot, unhook it.
Wow.
And I was just blown away that you can't park this truck. Well, I said this to Greg, and I said to him, one of my coworkers said, yeah, he's not a truck driver. This guy's not a truck driver. He's a steering wheel holder.
Yep.
And he liked that. He liked that because he goes, yeah, that's true. We got a lot of that out there.
Yep. Flip flops on the dashboard.
Go into a truck stop anytime at night.
And a bucket in the bucket in the sleeper where they go to the bathroom, or a hole cut in the floor.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was disgusting.
They had a truck come through. There's a Werner driver years ago when I worked for International, and guy goes, he was either some Asian, I don't know what, but anywho, I got in the truck and I was like, it smells like a mix of piss and crap in here. What is going on? Well, he had this rug in between the driver and passenger seat and the back bunk. And when I stepped over that and I pulled it back. It's a freaking hole. And then all over the drive shaft, there's crap all over it. It's like, yeah, no, I ain't touching this truck. I'm not working on this. I'm sorry. I don't get paid enough to work on that. I'm not doing it.
It's a biohazard.
Yeah. And they don't see nothing wrong with it. They just go. They think it's okay because over in their area, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's like
you see that a lot. Some of these brandy new trucks that they can't be more than a year old because they're the new body style and everything, and they look like they're 20 years old. And they open up, and just walking past at a rest area or something, you walk past the truck, they open the door, and it just stinks. I don't know how people live. I mean, I'm in a day cab and I keep it really clean.
Yeah.
I
gotta be in it.
I can't imagine living in something for weeks, if not months at a time, and having it look like that.
Yeah.
No, it's awful. And you go to some of these rest areas. I got diesel the other week at the Rudders in Hamburg, and I'm sitting there at the fuel island. I'm filling up and I'm getting my def and all that stuff. And so, guy pulls up 2 islands to the right of me. And he walks over and he says, you work on trucks? And I was like, yeah. I said, see the big C on the side there? I said, if it's got a Cummins in, I said, we work on anything. So he goes, cash? I'm like, no, you have to have an account. He goes, no, I pay you cash. And I'm like, no, I ain't doing it. I'm going home. Well, he had his door open, right? And there must have been flies. Oh, you could see the flies swarming around in there in winter, let alone. And it just looked, there's just a pile of crap all in the passenger seat. There's bills and various cups and stuff all over the dash, covering the windshield, like a quarter of the windshield at the bottom.
Wow.
And it's like, well, how do you drive? How do you go to customer places and deliver freight and not think, oh, well, I'm representing whatever company is on the side of this truck, or myself, or whatever.
Yep.
How do you think that's appropriate? You know what I mean? No professionalism in any sense. No. That is gone.
That's only getting worse too. Every year that goes by, you see less and less.
Well, at least I give him credit keeping the garbage in the truck, not out on the road.
Pushing it out,
not distributed out on the highways everywhere. So.
He's hoarding the flies. Yeah. But, he's Lord of the Flies.
He's Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. Yeah.
I don't know how you do your job sometimes when you have to deal with those kinds of things, because that would drive me crazy. Now, thankfully, when something like that comes along, I imagine you can turn that down if that happens.
I was going to say, he probably could say, look, it's got wheels. You can drive it to our garage.
Right.
I'm out in the field.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know that we kind of exist. And I think it's good and it's bad. It has its, some of it's good because then you could, go and make new relationships with new different customers that, say, like big fleets, like you're for Pitt, Ohio, for example,
right.
Like, you could go there and they necessarily don't know you exist as far as this end of the service end, right. I mean, of mobile, of field work. And then it has its drawbacks too, because then some people, they just think, in a few minutes you can snap your fingers. Well, I'll try and make something happen, but I'm not a magician. I'm human, just like everybody else. Got to we'll try our best and do the best that we can. If we need to come back, we need to come back. But I'll make sure I try and get the job done for you as quickly as I can and make sure it's right for you.
And usually with what you're doing too, a lot of times it's not just one little part. When those big machineries go bad, it goes bad in a big way. Something big breaks. For carrying on the truck.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I got stopped. I had a DOT stop, and this was right down 83, right before you get to. I want to say that's Newberry, like where. Right when you come up over Reese or Summit, Reese, and then go back down.
Yep.
So I'm in the right lane. I'm cruising. Got the cruise control, and I'm cruising, and I see that the weigh station sign is open, and I see the trooper is waving people over in. Mm-hmm. So he points to me and points me in. So I go in. I park down on the end. So I roll my window down. I get all my paperwork out, and he goes, "Where are you coming from?" And I said, "From Harrisburg." "Where are you going?" I said, "Literally the next exit. I'm going right to the next exit." "Well, I'm going to have to do a DOT stop on you." I was like, "Okay." So I give him all my paperwork and my med card, everything, my commercial license and everything. He goes, "You got any torches on the truck?" I said, "No." "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "There's no torches on this truck." I said, "No." "You can look if you want." I said, "I don't have any on there." So he goes and he, looks. Doesn't see him. So he's writing all this stuff down, right? And he goes,
he's trying to whack you for hazmat.
Yeah, well, he was trying. I think so. And then the other thing is he writes up, "Well, where's your fire extinguisher?" And I said, "I have one. It's in the first compartment right behind the driver, in the first storage compartment." He goes, "You don't have one in the cab?" I said, "No." I said, "I've had this truck since pretty much brand new." And I said, "I never had one in the cab when I got it." He goes, "I could write you up for this. You're supposed to have two." He goes, "You're telling me if the truck is on fire, you're going to reach in that back cab and try and get the fire?" I said, "If this truck is on fire," I said, "I'm not touching nothing. I'm letting it burn." You know what I mean? So he goes, "Well, I could write you up for this, And I was like, "Well, okay." And he goes, "But I'm not. But if I catch you coming through here again and you don't got that fire extinguisher in the cab, I'm definitely going to write you up and I'm going to give you a ticket and all this other stuff." So what I'm trying to get at is when they're doing the checkpoint, a lot of these guys that are doing the checkpoint, they don't know what they're looking at. And that's my issue. How are you going to be a Department of Motor Vehicle Enforcement officer and you don't know what you're actually looking at? You were trained by somebody who maybe had a mechanical background. Maybe they were a mechanic and they know what's good and what's not. And they're just trying to say, hey, this is kind of like a go, no go. If you see this, no, flag it type deal. So they're checking like underneath everything, lights, brakes, all that good stuff. And the guy's like, "Okay, I'm going to do a cola test on your truck." And I'm like, "Okay." So we're cutting it out, we're hitting it and stuff. And he's watching. And he goes, "Well, that's excessive PSI loss on brake application." And I said, "Well, I'm going to tell you right now." I said, "I got no leaks anywhere on this truck." And I said, "It's been like this since new. So I don't know what to tell you." And he's like, "Okay," writes this on. So once everything was done, he writes me up the sheet and he says, "I think you're going to need a treadle valve on your truck." And I'm like, "I don't see how that is because the treadle valve works great. And it's not a chamber. The chamber's not leaking. And it's not like I'm hauling combination with a trailer like a glad hand or something like that. There's nothing." I just don't get it. How these people think they can do this type of stuff and they don't know what they're doing.
And they're not a mechanic.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, they're not a mechanic.
Can I ask you one question?
Go ahead.
Is that still York County right there?
I want to say yes.
Yeah. Enough said. Enough said.
I want to say yes. I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time I go down through that way, I try to avoid that like the plague. I try to go down like 11. I think it's 11. Try to go down 11 and go back around because I do not want to get hit there, because it's just a pain in the butt. And I'm sure like when you guys go in, you know, they'll wave whoever they want to wave through. But if they have a bug up their butt and they pick somebody, they're going to pick somebody, and then they're just going to go through every single nook and cranny they can.
Right.
They don't care how much time they're wasting of your time.
Yeah, exactly. But when you were talking about he was asking about torches. He was looking for oxygen acetylene because that's hazardous gas. You know, it's got to be strapped in. Blah 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 blah. It's got to be disconnected.
Yeah.
A lot of those cops, they have no idea what they're talking about with hazmat too. I got inspected earlier this year up in Connecticut, and the guy says, you know, you need to be placarded. I'm like, no, I don't. I said I had 3 hazmat bills, but one was, I don't know, 3 pounds. It was nothing. The total weight was well under 1,000 pounds. He goes, no, there's 3 bills here. You need to be placarded at least dangerous. If not, I was like, there's not even. He was looking at the total weight of the bill and not what the single line was.
Right.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to have to call somebody over. I was like, that was another 10 minutes of sitting there. And then he called somebody over, and the guy I saw the guy talk to him. He goes, he shoved the paper back in, like, you're an idiot. And he walked back over and handed it to him. He's like,
Barney Fife, let the guy go.
Yeah, 3 pounds of hazmat, and you have a 1,200-pound bill. Oh, you got to have placards on.
Yeah.
Well, he just looked at the total weight of the bill and not. Because it's line item especially when you have hazmat, everything's line item.
Yep.
He had no idea what he was looking at, and I saw the glimmer in his eye and how excited he was going to get to write me a ticket.
I got one. I'm going to the policeman's ball this year. Yes.
I'm going to be a king of the ball.
Yeah.
And he was the same one that typed in the registration on the trailer, the VIN number. He typed it in wrong and was telling me this isn't the right trailer for this registration. I was like, yeah. Well, I was like, I don't know. I don't look at every card when I hook up to a trailer. And he's like, no, this isn't right. I'm going to have to call someone in. I was like, okay, do what you got to do.
Right.
And then he comes back over. He goes, never mind, we figured it out. And then here I saw what he figured out because he wrote it on the paperwork. He crossed out the old VIN number and he hand wrote in the new one that he typed in correctly. Idiot.
Yeah, you gotta love it. You know, it's the way it is. You know, you because you're at their mercy.
Yeah,
you know, you're literally at their mercy. They're the one who's being paid by the federal government. You know, that they're supposed to have their license and everything in a row. It's like, can I inspect your license too, sir? I mean, it's
well, that's like Schipper's buddy Buttigieg. He knows everything about the transportation deal.
That's right.
Says that's why he mandated that mandatory schooling for commercial license now, and it's like, you know, years ago, when you would just go get the permit, and then, you know, you would get with somebody and they teach you, say it wasn't accredited school like how I did it, and you went for the test, you sat and did the test and everything, and then you were cleared to go, and then you got your license. Now it's like those that want a commercial license, an A, you have to go to accredited school, and it's like it's almost $10,000 or so for that schooling, and it's mandated. You can't. There's no getting around that.
Pay for it though.
That's it.
We can get the federal government, our tax dollars,
continuing education.
Pay,
Yep. All kinds of grants.
Well, that's why it's $10,000. If the federal government's paying, it's $10,000.
Yeah,
because everything's double and triple the cost.
Mm-hmm. If it's coming out of your pocket.
Yeah, i.e., this is what Elon's looking at. You know,
the Doge.
Yeah, the Doge.
Well, you know the way some of these drivers out there drive, I swear they got their license from a Cracker Jack box. You know what I mean? It's the pride.
Oh, yeah.
I got my pride.
At certain trucking,
insert photo here.
At certain trucking driver centers, they train heroes every 4 weeks.
They do.
Every 4 weeks.
And they're usually a master of the road.
They are. Yes.
Like you were talking about
road scholars.
Yeah. You were talking about that guy not being able to back the truck in, you know. Go to any truck stop in the middle of the night and you see these guys coming in, especially when it's tight, trying to get into the last truck spot. They obviously have never backed a truck in. I've seen so many guys, especially like at Brookville.
Yep.
It gets tight up there in the middle when
it
and
does.
Guys come in there, and I saw a guy one night knock on the door of another truck and ask the guy to back the truck. It was the same company, but knocked on the door and saying, "Can you back this in?" And the guy had to get out of his truck,
wake up, get dressed.
Yeah. Well, no, he did. He came out with flip flops and boxer shorts, climbed in the truck, and backed it in for him, and then went back to his truck. But
I hope he walked in for that.
Yep.
I don't know how these guys are on the road that don't know how to do. Yep. To me, backing was one of the things that took me the longest to learn when I went up from a B to an A.
It's one of the more difficult things.
I spent 4 or 5 Saturdays because Pitt trained me.
Right.
On my own time, maybe 5 or 6 hours, doing nothing but driving around and backing in.
Yep.
That's all I did. Every door. That one day I made it. I backed into every door at our terminal.
Wow.
44 doors. I drove around, back in, drove around. Next one, I did every one until I started getting a little better at it. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm line haul, I don't back in that much anymore. I can't back in.
And now he can't back in. But he keeps his windows clean.
Yes, I do.
That's good.
You know which? Bart, you gotta clean the windows.
Oh, the white all over.
Yeah.
So
I made sure I didn't hit the washer.
Bring it home as
she be white all the way around. Possible. I didn't even put portholes in. I just left it right.
And with the power windows now, with all that salt, you hear it scraping down.
So you guys are familiar with the truck stop right there off of 81, right there at the Turnpike at 76 off the off ramp for the Turnpike.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
There's a couple trucks. There's a truck.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's the Petro right there by. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I was on this campaign for Amazon, and Amazon, it was like 3 different owners that own those bunch of trucks there. Mm-hmm. So we were doing this campaign. So I'd go and do like 10 at a time, 5 at a time, whenever they were there, and we had a list that we were working out of anyhow. So I have a radio in my truck, right? So I was sitting there one day, and these guys are going at it on the CB. They're going at it about professionalism and driver courtesy is what they're arguing about. This one guy's talking about how you need to wipe. It's like wiping the toilet seat. When you splash all over, at least wipe it off for the next guy.
Right.
So anywho, this is at night. This is late at night. So I'm waiting for this last truck to show up so I could get it done and then I can go. Well, mind you, I see over to the right there where I'm parked in the gate. Off to the right, I see this van. It goes down to the end of the lot, flips around, goes back, then flips around, comes back, and it lets these women off. So then they start going up to the doors. They're knocking on the doors. They're knocking on the doors. I said, oh, what the heck is going on here? So then I hear somebody come on the radio. He goes, well, it's not quite Christmas yet, but I think Santa Claus, I've been a good boy for Santa Claus. He's going to drop me off an early Christmas present. I'll catch you fellas later. And mind you, it was the Pete, a long-nosed Pete, with all the lights on, everything, had all these lights on. That was the guy. He opens the door, lets her on up in. 45 minutes later, when I'm getting ready to leave, there she goes, getting out. I'm writing my paperwork up. She's getting out, getting in the van. Down the road she goes.
Wow.
Some of the stuff you see is just it's comical. It really
right
is.
over to Fuel Island for the squeegee.
Oh.
In the washer fluid, pouring it down.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Next.
Next. Kind of like the time I went down to Gap. It's an outfitter's place in Gap. You know what I'm talking about. I forget the actual name of it. It's a big warehouse. But anywho, I went down there. It was the first year I was on the road. Probably like 6 months on the road. I went to go look at a jockey truck down there. So I go down there, look at it. After treatment faults, it's derated. Tell the guy what it needs. Get the part. Put the part on. Get it fixed. Good to go. Put it in a regen. So I'm packing all my stuff up. So while I'm packing up, this lady's walking towards me. Truck driver. She's a truck driver. Walking towards me. No teeth. Okay? No teeth.
Those are the best kind.
They are.
So she's walking up. So she's walking up towards me, and she says, "Excuse me." So I'm trying to be professional, and I go up to her and say, "Yes, ma'am. What do you need?" If this. She goes, "How would you like to be the peanut butter to my jelly sandwich?" And I'm like, I just froze. So then she motioned.
Do I have to?
She pointed over where her truck was, and she goes inside, gets her bills, and then points again and says, "I'll be right over here." And I'm just like, "Oh no.
I have an allergy to peanuts.
So my supervisor calls me because he wanted to know how I made out, and I said, I don't know what just happened here. And he goes, "Why? What's the matter?" I said, "Well," and I started explaining this to him. He lost it over the phone. By the time I got back to Harrisburg to drop core parts off to go home, everybody in the damn building knew what was going on. I said, "This is the last time I'm going down there for somebody else." So now it sticks. So now they gave me all types of nicknames. Now I'm PB&J, I'm Peter Pan. You know, they put a Jiffy sticker like on my truck on the door, like crap like that. Oh yeah, that story has. Yeah. What's up, Skippy? Yeah, call me Skippy. It was terrible.
I'll let Joe know. You know, he's from Harrisburg area.
Yeah. If I get a call from Pitt, Ohio, over in Harrisburg, "Hey, can you send Skippy over?" I'll know who sent the good message.
Don't worry.
That's funny, man. You know, and that's the industry. You know, people are crazy.
Oh yeah. You got to have tough skin.
You do.
You can't be.
Yeah.
You can't be a.
Don't be sensitive.
You can't be a wimp. No. The circle in the wall will draw blood if you go by at the right moment.
Yes,
you know what I mean. You can't be sensitive at all. You have to kind of roll with the punches and take it.
Yep.
And then
get your truck and leave.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You don't waste time after an invitation that's that inviting. No, I got to go.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was terrible. Never again. No.
Why do you think I keep practicing the 8-minute drop and hook?
They can't catch up to show. Excuse me. Nope, can't do. Can't do. Just crank it here now.
Plug it all in. We're good.
Sometimes in case of an emergency, you back under it. Lift it. We're gone. We'll crank it up down the road.
How's your guys' expansion going about?
Oh, this expansion looks beautiful. It just don't have any power.
The building is
Johnny
beautiful.
Kilowatt won't juice it.
No, that's all my electricity. I can't even charge the car.
Yeah, good old PP&L, I guess it is, right?
Hazleton has the same issue, too.
It's amazing, yeah. That whatever something isn't done right, and the building looks like it's done.
It is. Yeah. It's completely finished.
Lines are painted, doors are numbered, everything's done.
Well, I guess you're going to have to tell corporate up at Pitt, Ohio to buy some standby power then for you to power up.
We already got a big ass generator. They won't let us fire that up because the power. It's a show.
What kind of generator is it? Is it
Japanese?
Big.
Yeah, it's
it's
some
weird. So it's guaranteed to work then.
Yokihani. Yeah, it's not even Yokohama, anything like that. It's a fly by nighter there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's big. I mean, it looks nice. It's big.
Huh. Are they also expanding Harrisburg too, or no?
They already did.
No.
They're doing more.
How the hell can it go anywhere?
They're going to be doing more stuff in Harrisburg, I hear.
Some bird said. Yeah.
How are they doing it out front? You're going to be close to the road, and you go any further the other way, you're on the highway.
Listen, you go to Massachusetts.
Yeah. I still go to Harrisburg, cover some of your runs.
Not no more.
Somebody has to cover.
Oh, yeah, not no more. I'll be doing the early stuff. I'll be going to Ross every day.
There you go, man. That's the way to do it. Money for nothing.
I guess hopefully they won't extend the guardrail. Like the took out, huh?
Somebody else tore it up too.
They've shortened that. They took that piece out. They had to replace because of somebody and we have those little reflector thingies that you run over and they pop back up now.
It's safer that way,
but people still run them over. You see like the third one down flat. Now, how did the guy run over the third one and missed the first two.
The first two went in between the tires.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's because they replaced it the first time with a shorter guardrail. And then that one got destroyed. And now they just have the little reflectors there.
Yeah.
Give up. We just don't need them.
Just remove it.
I'm surprised more shit don't happen because that's a tight gate to get into.
You know, swing wide as you enter.
It wasn't until they put that pole in the middle and cut that gate in half. Everybody has security room. I know, right?
Oh, I think that's going to be part of the new construction. They're going to change that around.
What do you mean?
I would imagine they would.
If they redo the front.
They redo the front.
Yeah. Well, those tracks in front of there, they're not used for anything anymore. They're completely decommissioned. Yeah. So they could probably come out there and tear them up.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I don't know. You know how the railroad is with because we go over there too, and that's always a pain in the butt. You know, Norfolk Southern and stuff. They just if they got the right of way for anything, if they want their way, they'll get their way.
But they tore up the tracks from the yard, from the rail yard. They tore up all those tracks to come out to there. It's smooth there. There's no tracks going across the road anymore. So I don't think they'd give a crap.
Well, I'm sure they could put them right back in as fast as they took them out.
True.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the railroad. They work like PennDOT, so it might take them a couple of months, but they get to it.
They can do it. Some committees and together.
They're not going to put them in lickety split. Have you gone over some of these railroad track crossings? You know,
that's
knock the ice off the trail.
That's the way to deliver up.
That's a place
or on the back. Yeah,
that's a place. That's a special kind of breed of their own. People that work in rail. And I'll tell you, we go to the rail yard a lot, especially behind where you guys are, or behind where the Harrisburg branch for Pitt, Ohio is. But we go up to Rockville, up, 15?
Yeah.
Like take 81 and then get off at 15 there to go like you're going up to State College or whatever.
Right.
And this past summer, I was over there. They have these big forklifts. They're big forklifts that lift rail cars. Mm-hmm. And they're under Cummins power, but they had a brand new jockey truck. I'll never forget it. They just rolled this thing up, brand new. Got the decal, just decaling it, everything. So I'm working, and I was there all day. And then a little while later, I see this jockey truck towing this other jockey truck, and I'm like, no, they can't be the brand new one. I was like, well, maybe it's something stupid or something small like a sensor that went bad or it's broke or a wire or something dumb, right? So I go over to the main shop there and I talk to him and I said, and I get to look and I'm like, holy shit, what the hell did you guys hit with this thing? Here a forklift hit the cab and knocked the driver's, it would be like the driver's side corner, the left-hand corner of the cab, like 2 feet back. So now it's all tweaked like this off of the frame. I'm like, this is brand new. And he goes, yeah, we can't have nothing nice. We have a lot of people here. They just don't care. They really don't care.
Extended warranty.
Extended warranty. Yeah. Just can't believe it. But like the rail yard is just, you want to talk about some entertaining, you have to just go over there one day and sit and watch. All the stuff that goes on, that's like being at a quarry. Same deal. Only on a funnier note. Because the shenanigans that go on over there, it's hilarious. It's just hilarious.
Oh, great. Do you work, speaking of like that, the rail yard stuff, do you work on any locomotives? Like, do they?
So I have not yet. A couple of my colleagues, my senior colleagues, yes, they have. Yes.
I seen those engines, and that's basically what a locomotive is a giant engine with some wheels underneath it.
With some, yeah. Well, that's what that 95 liter that I was talking about earlier was actually meant for. It was meant for rail, and that was supposed to be their quote unquote, like flag for high horsepower, their flagship engine, which they developed a lot of R&D and research and field study on. And then they started implementing it into various pieces of equipment and gen sets and that type of deal. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's massive. I mean, I'm not trained. We all, like, since I started, they send you for training and stuff, but a lot of like my two guys, there's 4 of us total for engine. So give you an idea. 4 of us only do engine. And then there's like roughly 9 or 10 that do what's called power gen. So power gen guys, they they go out and they troubleshoot automatic transfer switches, gen ends. They'll do PMs on generators, that type of deal. And then us for engine, we'll troubleshoot, repair engines. That's what we do, after treatment engines and OEM wiring and that type of deal. So those guys are kind of like in their own deal. They got their own stuff that they got to deal with, and we got our own stuff we got to deal with. But the two senior guys on the road with me, those guys do rail stuff. Now, I've done some rail stuff like a broom. I don't know if you ever seen a locomotive with a big broom. It has a big wheel on the front, and what it does is that engine powers it so it drives the broom, so it pushes rocks and stones when they go and cut new rail.
Okay.
And they lay new rail. So, like, I've worked on them before. I've worked on a conveyor. So the conveyor takes the millings and all that stuff. It has a little 3.8 liter Cummins engine that runs this conveyor. It's like 60 horsepower that runs the conveyor and the locomotive together. So it'll take millings and all type of debris, and it'll roll it up off of the conveyor into a big, like an empty car, and then that car gets hauled off type deal.
Right.
Like that type of stuff I worked on. But the 95 liter, no. The 78 liter, no. 60 liter, yes. I went to Utah for a week. My wife went with me. We actually went out there for a whole week, and I went and got trained on the 60 liter while I was out there. So it was pretty cool. That's a different, their way of doing things out there is way different than what we do. Because, you know, there's like, in Utah, I think there's only 2 branches. And then, like, Nevada, there's, like, 2, but they're, like, over 300 miles apart.
Wow.
From one end of the state to the other. So you want to talk about traveling. They travel longer distances than what we travel on a normal day-to-day.
Right.
Type deal. But it's just, like, different. It's just cool. You get to see different things, different pieces of equipment. It's not, like I said, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Not the same every day.
You're working on so many different things, and you said you have to like field test it or like road test. So you get to drive or operate some of these really odd-looking machines.
Yeah. I mean, like the shovel, I didn't get to operate it. We had an operator on site, so he would, you know, once we did the repair and got all the fluids pumped back up into the engine and stuff, he would run it through its paces, get it warmed up, get the hydraulics warmed up, and then once everything was warmed up, he'd start digging. And that was pretty cool because you get to see that big piece of machinery dig, and, you know, that's what it does 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's loading haul trucks to haul the overburden and stuff away and coal, and, you know, run it for 45 minutes or so, make sure everything's good. You go back up, climb into the engine room, make sure everything's on the up and up, and then give it the thumbs up, pack up, see you later.
You know, it's a big piece of equipment when you say the engine room.
The engine room, yeah.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. That is such an interesting job, dude. That is really cool.
Yeah. Like I said,
it is.
Those big Tonka toys and stuff you play with as a kid, now he gets to work on them and make them run.
Yeah. I will say, for us, like for me working for Cummins, we kind of got it pretty good, because if you worked for Cat, Komatsu, you know, even like Case or something like that, like even in agriculture, like they have to support, like they're doing track, they're doing counterweight work, they're doing, you know, finals, like all the drive wheel end stuff, like heavy stuff. Like that stuff we don't have to deal with, which in a sense, I guess, if depending on who you talk to, you know, you kind of get used to that. Once you start working on that, you know, you kind of adapt. But on the day-to-day, it's more like we deal with the engine and some of the OEM and the after treatment, and that's kind of it. We're not having to deal with track, counter. I mean, yeah, we'll have to take a counterweight off if you got to get access to the engine to take it out or something like that. But you're not, you know, diving deep into the abyss of the machine and doing track work or that type of that type of stuff. Whereas those guys have to support all that. So they have to deal with that kind of stuff on a day-to-day. So we're kind of not catered, but privileged in that aspect that we get to only touch the engine after treatment, some OEM, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Better be master at the one thing than try to cover the whole thing. And
Yeah.
I guess, but I'll tell you what. This is like it's going on my 4th year being here, and I mean, some of the stuff you deal with, it's like you don't know what the hell's wrong with it, and you're like going through all your published troubleshooting and trying to, and then now you're trying to think outside the box, and then it gets really wonky when you go like to some of your lower end technical support, and they don't know. So then that's when it results into what we call a level 3 field service engineer visit, and they will come out. And like I said, usually we get the same guy that's out of our branch that we still work with him very close. You know, he'll come out and look at stuff and you'll be like, well, what the heck's wrong with it? And you're talking to somebody that's got 40 plus years of experience being in the business, and they'll go through some stuff. And it just amazes me how much knowledge somebody like that's where the old timers, no offense, but the old timers come in to play, because those people are a wealth of knowledge from what they learned back in the day before you were even born or touched a piece of equipment.
Right.
And it's like, well, we dealt with this in the 80s, you know, type deal. So this is what you're dealing with.
Right.
And this is the fix. Yeah, it's crazy.
He comes out with a little hammer, and he knows exactly where to tap. Okay, you're good to go.
Hammer, duck.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Schipper. Did you guys have GIF locks when you were at PJAX?
No, but Ryder Pie did PIE up there on 512. I know about them. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I didn't know when I was growing up. When my grandfather drove, he had an old. His tractor at the time was a new tractor then in like '96, but it was a WG, a white GMC, and they had Overnight had tons of those GIF locks in their system, and he actually showed me how a GIF lock worked and how you would switch it if he ran down somewhere with a single axle tractor with doubles,
right,
and then turned around and had to turn it to a tandem axle. That's what they used.
Right, because he had a single box that had 40-some thousand on. Yep.
Yeah, right. So like,
in,
and then
slide the fifth wheel forward.
Yeah, and then you had the switch. You had the switch in the dash that you'd flip from say 2-axle to 3-axle or vice versa, and you'd move the fifth wheel up, put the pins in, and then hook everything up and go. And it's just funny. Like at that time, that was latest technology. That's what a lot of freight carriers used. And then you talk to people now, like say that are maybe my age or a little bit younger. If you told them what a GIF lock was, they wouldn't know what it is unless they knew somebody that was an old timer that worked during that
time.
Era.
Yep.
Yeah, during that time.
That was known as the cheap way of getting a tandem.
Yeah. Right.
You can haul a heavier freight
anymore. You don't see them out there at all anymore.
No, right.
No, I mean, back in those days, I think every LTL carrier, like New England Motor Freight, Overnight, Old Dominion, Carolina before it became ABF, ABF, like Yellow Roadway.
Yep. I remember UPS had a lot of them too.
Yeah, all those carriers had that back then, and then it's like, you went through time, and then they also had the same style tractors back then.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right.
And now it's like you get people, you go to these fleets, whatever big fleets and LTL and stuff are left. You hear these quote unquote prima donnas, oh, I'm not driving that truck because, it doesn't have heated seats or it doesn't have heated mirrors. And it's like, where is the can-do spirit to get the freight delivered? Some people that like that pre-emissions tractor, they love it because they get to shift it and they get to hear the actual sound of the engine. They don't get to hear all this muffled nonsense that they have going on. No offense. I mean, it's what it is.
My automatic transmission, my power windows,
my power mirrors.
Yeah, I ain't get out
your power heated mirror,
and all the outlets that I need to charge everything I've got.
Phone.
My phone, my laptop, my iPad, my GPS.
I was called a prima donna. Remember the Sterling trucks we had?
Mm-hmm.
None of them came with floor heat.
Really?
They didn't have any floor heating.
No venting down there.
No venting whatsoever. I was called a prima donna when I got back. I said, I can't use that Sterling anymore. My foot was freaking numb. It's the middle of winter. The floor was ice cold. I'm dripping with sweat. I am drenched. I had the heat on high and my feet were frozen. If you looked in some of those old Sterlings, they ran dryer hose from the vents. They duct taped dryer hose and hung them on the floor just to warm their feet.
Well,
if
you learn how to drive like some of these guys today, you could have put your feet up on the dash.
Yeah, that's true. I should have worn my flip-flop right in front of I could have had it right up there in front of the vent.
That's how these drivers are. And then you could have watched your movies too at the same time.
Oh my God. Speaking of that, I watched a guy the other day, last week. I'm coming from Higgins. I'm coming down 81. And I'm looking over and I said, you got to be kidding me. He's got a freaking iPad on the dash with a movie and he's screwing around with his phone. And I'm like, no wonder he's all over the road and not paying attention.
Must have been one of them autonomous trucks.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started. Don't even get me started about the autonomous truck.
Yeah, that's going to be.
They want to talk about AI. They want to talk about they're going to replace truck drivers. There ain't not in the next 50 years. I don't see it happen.
No. The driver that you were just talking about, he'll replace himself because he'll have an accident.
Yeah,
he won't survive. Which is we're culling the herd. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Thinning the herd. Yeah. Thinning the herd. Yeah.
It's going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Survival of the fittest. That's what it is. Survival of the fittest.
Evolution of the truck drivers.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's just crazy. There's people. It's like, wow, how are you not fired yet?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, there's no cameras.
Exactly.
When he has that first accident, he runs in the back of somebody, then he'll be fired. But until then, he's just got to keep watching his Netflix. And
that's a sad thing.
I used to see it at night all the time. During the day, you don't see it as much. I'm sure it's still happening just as much. I just can't see it because you're not driving down the road with a bright screen in front of you. But during the day, now I see more of the guys with that 1 foot up on the dashboard. First of all, how short is this dude that you can do that?
Yep.
You can have your foot up.
You have to be flexible in truck driving.
Yeah, I guess. Well, he's doing his yoga poses.
Next thing you know, they're going to have truck drivers doing OnlyFans when they're going down the road.
Only truckers.
Only truckers.
Yes,
right.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yep. Skipper's going to be the first one.
Right.
Schipper's going to start taking pictures of his feet.
Yes, sir.
Oh, God.
Yep.
That mental image I can't get out of my head now.
Right, Skipper only fans.
It's like if you ever heard that, it's a clip. I don't know if you ever heard it, but there's this clip going around. It's voiced over, but it's at a truck stop and it's a guy on the radio and he goes, "Hey, any of you got a cordless drill? I need that battery and I need it real bad." And he's talking, and then everybody's ripping him a new one. Shut up! They're just telling him to shut up. They're ripping him. Got to go watch it sometime. It's hilarious.
Definitely will.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's a crazy. This industry is crazy. You see crazy part of it. You see an aspect of what we do, what this industry, and you deal with it.
Yeah, and it's taken for granted. Truck drivers. I mean, all your quote unquote, I don't know how to say it, but other people, they think like, well, truck driver, they're an uneducated person. They blah, all this stigma, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, actually, truck drivers, they go through a lot of stuff. They're actually pretty smart people. And it's a tough job because you're on the road every day. You're by yourself every day and you're not at home every day. Oh, some are. Yeah. But it's like, if trucks are not moving, you ain't getting groceries.
Yep. The crap
you ain't getting
for Amazon isn't going to show up at your door.
No, nothing's going to. Commerce is going to stop countrywide if you don't have that infrastructure supported and rolling and moving.
Yep.
So it's taken for granted every day. You know what I mean?
These trucks are basically rolling warehouses.
They are
to resupply the warehouses overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that when you push, add to my cart and pay, and it'll be here tomorrow. That truck's bringing more stuff to the warehouse for you.
People saw that during COVID, and I was hoping they were going to learn their lesson, but they're just right back. Saying, effing truck drivers. Yep. They don't understand.
And the thing is
they all got to sit at home for 2 years work from home. Well, I've never worked more than when COVID hit. That was more hours than I ever saw before.
But I was so happy to work those days.
Yeah, no one
because
on the road.
there was nobody else out there being a pain
on the road.
Yeah. But there's a certain amount of that frustration that we take, and you're like, I get it, because when I get in my personal car, and there's trucks in front of me, and they're I'm trying to get around. I get it. That's why I understand people's frustration with big trucks. I get it. I get that they don't like us. They don't like us being there. They don't like us being in their way. So there's a certain amount of deference that I give people. At the same time, you still need your stuff delivered, and I still want to do my job. And if and I know it's like a kumbaya moment. Brian's going like, "Oh yeah, we should all just get along.
Yeah, see, I don't.
Just merge together, and we should all just be happy." And I realize it's not ever going to happen. So the sooner the autonomous vehicles come along, the happier I'll be.
Yeah,
not really.
Yeah.
I think it's a great job. I really do. I think it's a great industry.
It'll be autonomous in the way airplanes are autonomous.
Yeah,
the pilots are still
sitting
there.
Somebody there,
but it's never going to be one
because somebody's got to land it.
Yeah, well, actually, technically, it could probably do that itself too now. But
then you're going to upset the pilots. Little.
That's why you need to be unionized.
A little bit of Juice Newton there for you, pilot of the airways. Listen to my request.
Oh, we're going back to the old.
I know.
70s and 80s music reference. Bingo card. Old music reference.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway. Vishal, you have anything else? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Anything else that you have in your wheelhouse? Anything? I mean, you have done some crazy jobs, dude.
I mean,
your job is interesting. I mean, what we do is we just get behind and we drive the wheel. We just stand there. You
drive the big box around.
Yeah, like that.
but you keep America moving.
But you keep us moving. So
it's a hand in hand relationship.
Yes, it's a very simpatico relationship. Yep.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. We need the mechanics.
Oh yeah,
we'd be we'd be sitting on the side of the road.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I bet you the Cummins motors, and I'm going to just put this out there.
Yeah,
don't blow turbo hoses.
I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Work.
Anything's possible. Well, see, we weren't getting turbo clamps made in China like you guys.
There you are. Well, that's Mac.
Yeah.
Well, we power them too.
I know you do, because out at Mac in Macungie, I was out there at Mac. They lost a whole trailer of Cummins motors. They don't know where they dropped it.
Wow.
Yeah,
and they were like, expensive.
Oh yeah, they were supposed to be going on the line. So all those went right through the whole line. Didn't get a motor. They had to push them out, and then back around when they find the freaking motors.
The new electric.
So it's funny. It's funny. Schipper mentions Mac because. So my one senior guy from me, he goes there. That's his baby.
Right.
He's, but like in times when he's
motor.
Yeah. So in times that he's off or whatever, I get to go. Or if he needs help, I get to go because I don't live far from the plant. Right. I'm only like 20 minutes from the plant. And some of the stuff that goes on there is like crazy. Like Schipper was just mentioning about missing engines and stuff for the line and stuff. Like they have supply chain problems trying to get certain parts that we don't provide. Like they have to source it because they're the OE. But it's like you'll have this truck, it's built, but you can't take delivery of it because we need XYZ type stuff. So it's like you got to wait. And and the amount of trucks that just sit out there that you're waiting on stuff. They'll have, papers in the windshield. They'll say waiting for blah, 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 or waiting for.
Sounds like our shop.
Right. Well, that parts on order. And this is the factory.
Over the shop like 4, 5, 6.
Well, that happened during COVID because it wasn't just trucking companies, but all automotive. Yeah. They did just in time.
Yep.
For manufacturing, their parts showed up the day they were going in the car.
Right.
And during COVID, everything shut down.
With all the chips and everything during COVID. Yeah.
There were parking lots of Ford F-150s and they needed just one microchip.
Yep.
And the truck sat there. This $70,000-$80,000 truck sat there for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Couldn't get sold. And I'm sure the same thing was happening in the trucking industry too. We couldn't.
I would imagine.
Well, because there for a while we couldn't get parts, or I couldn't get trucks because Mac couldn't make enough, or Freightliner couldn't make enough.
They couldn't cobble enough pieces together.
But the craziest thing about this was, like the the Cummins issue with they didn't know where they dropped the trailer that had the Cummins motors in them.
Yep.
All those motors are serialized.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those serialized gets to a certain VIN.
Certain vehicle, right?
It's not like, together, hey, we have these over here.
Yeah.
Because that
it's already applied to that.
You already screw up the works in case of a recall ever happens.
Yep.
Because this engine number is supposed to go in this VIN truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can't switch it around, even though it's a Cummins motor. Put it in. Put one in.
Yeah.
Right.
Even
though it sounds like it should make sense.
Yeah. And then the stupidest thing I've ever seen, it goes through the whole line, hood and everything's on, and they push it off with a forklift.
Yeah.
And then they got to disassemble half the truck to get the motor back in later.
They got to take the hood and everything back off, disassemble to let it run through again.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Everything, motor, trans, rears, they're all serialized. It's all got to be in that VIN to track it, in the event that it's a recall or something otherwise happens.
Yeah. It's kind of screwy down there in that sense because, they're trying to push trucks out as quick as they can, but then like Schipper was saying, if you can't get an engine or whatever the case is, or they can't source the stuff and you got to wait, well, we'll just build the whole truck and then just put it outside. And then once we're ready, we'll have, so-and-so from this department, we'll bring it back in and work it back through.
Yeah, because what they usually end up doing, they'll tow it. Now they'll pay a towing company money to tow it up to like Trans Edge.
Right.
The mechanics. Now they can put the engine in. You're on the assembly line, for God's sake. Well, no, we put the hood on. We're done.
Yeah.
we already got credit
Wipers
for that
work. We're done.
They can sell the truck for what it costs because the economy of scale. They're scaling up on the assembly line. It's a fraction of the price what it's going to cost to put an engine in at a dealership.
Right.
Yeah.
Or to rip half of it apart again to put one little microchip in or one little sensor or something that should have been put on.
Because that's what happens, then they get the towing company. Okay, you got to take this up the Trans Edge. We tow it from here to
the
there.
Economy going.
Yeah,
it does.
Gives the tow truck drivers jobs.
It does. It keeps them busy.
Yeah, I mean they're shuffling trucks in and out of there.
Yeah,
every 15 minutes, it's like a.
And the funny thing I laugh about is, Max McCungy. I come out of U-line. I'm coming up 100. I'm sitting there at the Wawa, 3 wide at the light. I look over. We got a stack of Max all stacked up together. They're delivering them somewhere, and the lead truck pulling everything. Check engine lights on already. He just left the factory 10 minutes ago. It's a factory light.
If it's not on, it means the engine's there. If it's off, something's happened.
No, it's like I said with my truck. The check engine light was on for 800,000. It first came on 400. So at least 400,000 miles.
Right.
When they started playing with the transmission, then the check engine light went off.
How about that?
Yeah.
Somebody's elbow hit the thing on when they were working on the transmission.
Yeah.
It was like
unplugged it.
Well, that explains that check engine or trans, maybe. I don't know.
We know
any
check the engine. They popped the hood, checked it. Looks good.
It's there.
Yes.
Any ideas on Pitt's? Is Pitt expanding at all, or no? They're still kind of working the same area.
We bought a company out in the Midwest now. Sutton Transportation. Sutton Transport.
I hope that's better. I hope that's better than Teal's.
It seems like it. Yeah, it's a bigger company. It's much.
They just the Teal's buy was to get the upstate New York
and new trucks.
Yeah,
not new trucks. Their trucks were garbage.
Boy, I went up there once to go look at a truck, and that place is just. It looked like a bomb had gone off.
Where'd you go?
Which one? Yeah.
Up.
Watertown, Binghamton,
Albany.
No, I think it was Binghamton. If I remember correctly, it was Binghamton.
Okay.
But the truck was in Pennsylvania. It was right there on that stretch of 81. It was broke down.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, of course.
and I mean, we followed him up there, and I was like, "Wow, this is terrible. I can't believe."
That was that white truck we had.
Yeah. Oh, that was awful.
Like the dock and stuff look all hammered. They're just the property in itself looked hammered. And I knew I knew Teals wasn't like a big name company. It was a small carrier, but but anytime you saw their trucks, they were pulling a raggedy trailer. I mean, that trailer looked like it should have been off the road years ago. And they were just kind of patching it to get on by type.
Yeah.
Now we put a vinyl wrap on all those trailers and called them pit trailers.
No, I think what they did was they actually went through, because I had a couple that were redone.
Yeah.
And they were actually decent trailers. I was like,
they just bought a bunch of those the 48 footers with the
pedal hook.
Yeah. They bought a whole bunch of them. We got all them. Those are good, but some of their trailers.
Those freaking pintle hooks are heavy. Holy crap.
Well, you just don't put 4 bolts on the back and call it a tandem 48.
100%. That'll work. Duct tape.
A bungee cord to hold the pintle hook down. Yeah, like the good old
the good old days. Yeah.
I said to Greg about it. About Teals, and he's like, this before he retired, but he had said, that place is just rough. And then I'd asked him, I said, any anticipation you think if Pitt's going to move over from Harrisburg to the old Yellow Freight Terminal when Yellow actually sold it?
Right.
He goes, I don't think so, because they were going to put some more money into expanding that terminal. But the thing is, Feasers is right there, so like you can only go out in that stretch.
Go the opposite direction from Feasers. There's the old Hess building.
The old Hess trucking company.
They own that.
Okay.
They own that. That whole piece of property next to our terminal.
That's their logistics, the warehouse.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And here Saya had bought the old Yellow terminal. Yeah.
Did Saya buy it or
they just leased
either bought it or leased it, one or the other. They either
they bought part of the land from it.
Okay.
Because if you go down 81 there by Carlisle, they got a nice fuel island garage right there on 81.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Can't imagine they would get rid of that or.
Yeah, I don't know if I think they bought land and built. I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since I've been down there.
Since they went under, have you guys gotten any drivers from there or now? From Yellow?
We have a couple of Yellow roadway guys. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? Short pant. Shorts.
Short
pants.
Yeah, hot pants.
Hot pants.
Yeah, it's a long story there.
I think we got 2 of them or something like that.
Don't know. I'm out of the loop on that one. I work during the day. Apparently, I'm missing a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're gonna have to get the glossary. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's an adventure.
He's
a really nice guy. It's just hilarious. It was just funny over the summer.
You wear a pair of shorty shorts one time.
Every day.
Wow.
It was hilarious.
It's hot out. I like the look.
Oh, it was funny, yeah. But anyway,
you'd be a princess one day and you're nicknamed Princess Drea. What can I tell you?
Or Johnny Kilowatt.
Yeah, look at that. I buy one electric car. I'm Johnny Kilowatt for life.
It's just hanging
Brian,
long enough.
Brian, how's your kid doing?
They're doing really good. Yeah,
good.
They're loving Tennessee. They're doing a great job. They're just,
they're loving Tennessee. Call them Tuesday if they get whacked with the snow.
Yeah,
they're going to be inside 6 days.
They got hammered last year. Yeah, I mean, you heard the show. I'm sure you heard of it.
Yeah,
they got 10 inches or something like that, or
right.
They got 10 inches at one spot, and Jack got like ice and 4 or 5 inches, and he was in his apartment for a whole week. They never shoveled it out.
Governor was crying.
Like,
didn't know what to do.
Wow.
That's how the South is.
It is. Yeah.
My sister and my mom are in North Carolina, and like if they get a little bit of snow, if they get just a little bit, that's it. They cancel everything. Yeah. They don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody stays home. Road department don't know what to do until it melts.
Nope. They break out their pickup truck plows.
Yeah. Until noon when the sun comes out.
Yep. It's crazy. I was so surprised. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because it snowed Sunday and he was still in his apartment on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was like, they finally all they all got together with snow shovels and they were shoveling the driveways out. I'm like,
oh my God,
it took you a week to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
come help us.
So yeah, it's a different place, but they love it. They love
good
there, and
even the cold weather. The people down south freak out. We went to Disney.
Yeah, they're not used to it.
2008. Well, my wife wanted to see Christmas down at Walt Disney World, and I'm in a sweatshirt and I'm a little warm. It was like 48 or 50. It got chilly at night.
Right.
people that worked for Disney, they were asking to go home because it was too cold.
Wow.
At 50 degrees, they had to go home. They're in like winter polar jackets. I'm in shorts, my hooded sweatshirt. I'm comfortable.
I guess your blood thins out or something.
You just get used to it, I guess. You go. Imagine us going out to Arizona in 110 degree heat.
Or to Florida in the middle of summer.
Us saying including me, I can tell you that because that's hot.
Too hot.
Yeah.
I don't care if there's no humidity. It's hot. Yeah.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry, a dry heat.
So's a blowtorch.
Right.
The blast furnace. That's a dry heat too. That don't feel too good.
Doesn't mean to feel good. Exactly. So anyway, but Vishal, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for coming. And if you just hang on just for a few minutes with as we end out the show, just hang on. Just so we can say our goodbyes and all that, and make sure everyone uploads.
Sure, not a problem. It was great to be on and meet you all and
glad to finally meet you. Yes, heard so much about you.
Yeah. Hopefully all good.
It's fun.
We had a blast.
The words were exactly, "Oh yeah, he really likes you."
Which I was surprised.
Right, so was I.
And so was everybody else.
2.
I got 2.
He's got 2, so Yep. Honey and Cher.
Yeah, well.
So
cool.
I know, right?
Next time if you're making a delivery at Mac or something like that, and you see a Cummins service truck floating around, just stop. Don't hesitate to stop us. That's fine. It's probably myself or my colleague, one or the other.
All right, cool. Well, we'll look for you out there on the road, somewhere.
Yeah.
If we run into you, hopefully it's not on purpose.
Usually about 8:40, I make that turn on to Penhar coming off the ramp there if you're over there late.
I'll be there on Monday, actually.
So
yes, I'll be there in Harrisburg at 8:40 on Monday.
Well, hopefully. I mean, PennDOT willing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's going to happen. With all that being said, we hope everybody enjoyed themselves. We hope the audience enjoyed themselves. And Mike, if they enjoyed themselves, what can they do? What should they do?
Share the show with everyone.
Yep. Share it on your Facebook page.
Yes, I have to start doing that. I got to get better at
that. Share it on Schipper. Schipper's going to share it on his OnlyFans.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Picture of his feet with the hammer lane legs in between.
I got 2 fans only.
That's good. With all that being said, keep the hammer down.
And the hammer lane. Have a good night.
Take care.
See ya.